Okay, so let's start with a new topic. So we are now covering, one by one, different types of financial markets. Last week we saw the market for selling of shares, and we learned that the shares are sold in the primary market. Any security is first sold in the primary market, and only then a secondary market comes into existence, because unless there is a primary market, the secondary market is not possible, right? So that is something basic, we all understand. So in the shares, the companies issue shares. They are the deficit, they need money. People buy shares from the companies, and this way they are investing their money. They had more money, so they are investing. So now moving to a new type of a market. Again, the same process will be there. The process of giving and taking money. The surplus will give money, and the deficit will take money. All right. So again, this is a process of doing that, but there are some unique features of this market which makes it different from a normal process of financial market, where there was either the intention was to deposit or invest, but here the intention is something else. Here the intention is to not invest, but rather the main intention is to do something else, to protect oneself from some sort of a loss. So we'll see today, you all might be having good practical idea about the insurance, Tameen. We are all using insurance, especially when we are traveling, using cars, medical. So insurance is everywhere. So it's a part of our life today. It's like corona vaccine. So we must use insurance. So we'll see how it works. What is this market? How it works? It's getting bigger over the period of time. It's a very big market. All right. So let's begin with this interesting topic on insurance, which is called Tameen in Arabic. So insurance starts all with one basic issue, that is risk, right? So some of you, perhaps you are taking, have already taken, or you are taking a course banking with me. So yesterday, day before yesterday, we were talking about bank risk management, and it's a similar type of a risk, for a general risk for all types of people, not just for bank, for everyone there are risks. And since we are dealing with financial market, we are concerned with financial risk. And financial, in simple words, we say it's money, risks related to money, right? But there can be other risks also, like physical risk is there. We are driving a car. So when we buy a car, and that's what we learn in consumer behavior, that a customer, when he plans to purchase a product, there are many risks, and it is the job of the marketer, the person who is in charge of selling the product, to make sure that he minimizes the risk as much as possible for the customer. The customer. Even though, as much we try, the perception of risk will be there. Customers will remain concerned about the product. But this concern goes from little to very much. So suppose, we are buying a very luxurious brand, very famous brand. Our perception regarding failure is low. That we are sure that, yeah, if I am buying Samsung, yes, this product is going to work. But a new type of a mobile phone is coming, we feel it's risky. It may explode, or it may not work well, right? So we go for a brand name because the brand stands for safety, for durability. So that is physical risk, okay? So there is something called financial risk, where we are concerned with money, our money. So there is physical risk, which is related to products, and there is financial risk, which is related to money. So even when we buy the product, there is financial risk involved, but it's a part of the product, the financial risk, the loss of money. That also is taken care of by the financial risk. Why? Because when we are flying, suppose we are flying and we lose our luggage. So if we lose any belonging, any good which is valuable, then what happens? We have some sort of coverage, some sort of facility that will make sure that our luggage, even if it is missing, if it is lost, then we get the money in place of the loss of the luggage. So that financial risk is there in the product risk also. So whatever is related to money is called financial risk. Okay. So insurance starts with risk. And what is risk? Risk is the possibility of financial loss. Now this is a very typical typical phenomenon, the possibility, or if I am right, it's called ihtimal, probability, or imkan. So I don't know which is a better word. You can tell me. Ihtimal is a better word for possibility, or imkaniya. You would be better able to tell which is better. And this is the possibility of financial loss. So today in the first part of this lecture, we should be very clear about what it is. Why does it make any sense or not? That's the question. Because if you look at the possibility of financial loss, then that possibility is always there, and there is so many times we feel scared, but it doesn't happen. So is it just a joke that we feel scared and we go into this process of risk, understanding the risk, and we buy instruments based on risk, or there is really a chance of occurring? So that is what we have to understand. So first of all, risk is the possibility, financial risk is the possibility of financial loss. How loss can take place? Health, house, car, in any aspect of our daily life. For individuals, it may be our automobiles, our health, life, job insurance. Job is at risk. So there are many types of risks which are related to one individual, and there are many risks associated with companies. The companies are running their businesses, so they have a godown, a storehouse where they keep the goods, but there is a possibility that the goods are stolen. there is a possibility that there is fire in the, there is an accident in the godown and all the product is damaged. So there is a possibility this may happen or may not happen. So that is what risk is. Risk is a possibility that it may happen. And on the other side, the possibility is also that the damage doesn't take place. I mean, we are all, alhamdulillah, we all travel every day with our cars. We go from one place to the other. We go long distances, and very rarely, alhamdulillah, we hear of accidents, that somebody hit another car or met with an accident, and most of the times we are safe. But the question is there a possibility that it can happen? Can anyone guarantee that it will not happen? So there comes, the debate of the possibility that there is a possibility that there can be financial loss because of some reasons, because of accident, because of the death of a person in a family member, the head of the family, if he dies, the children are young, so who will take care of them? In the companies, there is the goods are coming from foreign country through sea or air, and they are coming safely, but there is a possibility that it gets damaged, there is an accident. So these are, the issues which are addressed by insurance companies. What do they do actually? The insurance companies, I hope you are with me, okay? So just, time to time, just keep telling me you are there with me, so that I also can be alive. Otherwise, I'll sleep, okay? So the insurance companies started with the objective of solving this problem, that people, for example, I want to bring or import products from another country, from China. It is very good in quality, it is very nice, it will help my product to become better in quality. But I am scared because I have not have any experience of bringing the goods from China. Then secondly, it's a long distance. I am scared that it will come by ship or by air, and there is a chance that it may get lost, damaged. So if it gets damaged, I lose my money. So I am not even, as a businessman, I am not even exploring that opportunity. Why I am not exploring? Because why? I feel scared, I am afraid. Why am I afraid? Because I feel risk. There is a risk in importing the items from another country. It may get damaged or it may get lost. So here comes the role of insurance. The insurance companies started, or they have the objective of ensuring the person, the businessman, to go ahead and import from China, and in case there is a loss of product in ship or air, then the company, the insurance company, will reimburse, will pay to the company, to the businessman. So that means he feels safe. For example, he wants to purchase some goods of value $1 million, and he is ready to pay. He has no problem. He is ready to pay, but he is scared that this 1 million I pay, and while the ship is coming, it gets sunk, there is a loss, or I don't know that person in that place. How is that person? So who will take care of this? So because of this fear, this khawf, no, I don't go ahead with this facility of importing. But then I come to know about a company, Shirkat Tamin, who says, if this happens, right? If this happens, if your product is lost, then come to us. We will reimburse you. We'll pay back the money that is lost. So this becomes a very good service. And now this person, this businessman goes ahead happily, pays the money to the company in China and gets the product very safely. What does he pay in to the insurance company for this assurance? What is the Arabic for assurance? This assurance means to tell someone that I am there for you, don't worry. What is the Arabic word for assurance? Okay, so let me start my work of translating. Somebody has answered, so I have to go to the blackboard and see. Tamin? No. Tamin is insurance. I am asking for assurance, to tell someone, don't worry, I am there. So what is the correct Arabic word for that?
تأكيد.
Ta'keed, okay. Yes, you're right. Ta'keed, yes. So this means that now this businessman can easily buy from China. What made him buy from China? Because of the reason that he purchased an insurance policy. He purchased an insurance policy, after which he became happy and he was satisfied. I think in Google it says Taqeed, but I don't know whether it is with Hamza. Okay, so this insurance makes him confident and happy to go ahead with the import. Similar is the case with all other areas, like I want to buy a car, but I am very scared. If I hit someone, who will pay? Because I am a middle class person, I have very less income. I can afford a car, I can run a car, but if I hit, auzubillah, so what will happen? The person will claim 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 reals damage. I don't have the money to pay. It will be a big loss for me. So I said, Khalas, I am not going to buy a car. I'll just go in taxi and I'll not be using this because I am scared. Again, this insurance comes and says, go buy the car. In case there is an accident, we will pay the full amount to you or the person who faces the accident, the person you hit. That is called third party insurance. Or there is a full insurance in which the owner's car is also covered. So then he feels confident and he buys the car, the best quality cars, and runs in the cities very freely. Why did he do that? Because there was a company who said, we take care of your risk. And that's the case with all, health or life. So this risk, became a product. That is what we have to understand. That's the unique and very interesting feature of this financial market called the insurance market. Here, money is not the product. Like in shares. In shares, it was money. The money was used to buy shares, and share was a source of money. When you need money, you can sell the share and get the money back. But in case of insurance, it's not money. It is the risk which is sold and purchased. It is the risk which is packaged and sold to people, and they buy. So then comes the debatable question, ethical issue. The ethical, akhlaqiyah. So you will ask, I mean, as a common sense, a general person will ask, isn't this fraud? That somebody is first making me scared, threatening me that you can meet with accident, and then I have to buy an insurance, and after only buy insurance I can run the car. That is at an individual level, because there may be many people who say, I drive very well, I don't want to buy insurance. But the question here is not of individual. The question here is of a generalized problem. So in a generalized problem, if we look at, just take the example of cars. So if you look at the ihsa min al murur, the traffic police, the statistics, yearly statistics, what do we see? If we look at the accidents rate, then we realize, then we are able to. So if we are a knowledgeable person, if we are a responsible person, when we look at the statistics of accidents in the country or in the city, what do we see? That, I don't know the exact figure, you can just check it, Google it and say, what is the exact rate of accidents city-wise or in country. So what we see here, it's a good number. It's a good number, and when we find the probability, which is a mathematical term, probability of any car meeting with an accident in a particular year, then that probability is not zero. Is it zero? When will it be zero? For example, we are talking about probability, mathematical probability, that not talking about a particular person. That is not good, even from Islamic point of view. We are not talking about a person that tomorrow you are going to meet with accident. No, we are talking about, in general, there is a population of 35 million people or 1 billion people, and then we are talking about all of them. So out of them, the people who own cars, is there zero probability that each one of them can meet with an accident? No. There is some probability, there is some probability. It may be 10%, 20%, 30%, depending upon, countries, cities. There are some cities in Mecca who may be in Saudi who are more prone to accidents, some are less. But the probability of accident is there. Similarly, when we come to health, disease, mirth, what is the possibility that somebody can suffer from diabetes in his any point of time? Is it zero? No, it's not zero. Nobody can say that out of, suppose we are all in university, there are suppose 5,000 people in university. So can we say that each one of us are safe from diabetes? No. There is a probability that out of these 5,000, at least 10% or 20% of the people will get diabetes, will get some health problem, will have to be hospitalized in anytime, anytime it may happen. It's a fact. It is not against our religious principles to say that there is, that's why, it says, the seha, the health before illness, we have to treat it as ghanima. It's a boon from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are healthy. Why? Because there is a chance that we may fall sick, we may fall ill. This is the individual side. Then coming to the company side, we just saw, there is a possibility that the person is buying from China and his product gets stolen, or his product gets sunk in the sea. Even in the domestic area, the company doesn't have branches outside. It operates inside the country. There is a possibility that the godown, the storehouse gets some problem. There is a damage to the products. So, they are scared. They don't want to, be always scared. So what do? They go to the insurance. The insurance companies say that we provide your solution for fear. That's what I call, in a simple word, we will say insurance companies provide the solution not for damage. It's not actually for damage, isn't it? If you agree with me. If you don't agree, you can tell something better. And we are doing a general discussion. We are not going to the technical right now. We are understanding insurance from a general perspective. So what do insurance companies do? They provide solution for fear. Do you agree with this? I mean, you all know, we all know about insurance. We are quite clear about what insurance is actually. So if we say, that insurance provides solution from fear, okay? So any type of fear. And what is that fear? The fear of financial loss. That is insurance. And this is the exactly, what fear is. How do we technically call it in financial markets? We call it risk. So this risk, becomes the product. Now this risk can become health risk, business risk, traveling risk, any type or any form it can take. And then the insurance companies decide whether they are going to sell this risk or not. Okay, so let's come to the second point regarding risk. Risk is what insurance companies measure when determining whether to offer insurance and also how much will it cost. Okay, so there are two principles. One is the question by insurance companies whether they can take care of this risk or not, and how much will it cost. So let's understand this. A person has cancer. Can he get insurance, health insurance? No. Why? Because he is suffering from a terminal, a bad disease, chronic disease, which even though there is a cure, they go and get some treatment, but the mortality, the death rate is very high in this disease, in cancer. So this type of a risk, the insurance companies are not ready to take, because they know there is high chance that this person may die, and then we'll have to pay for his, if it is life insurance, then we'll have to pay. There is a very high chance that we will have to pay. But insurance companies work on the principle that we should not pay. We are not required to pay. I mean, if they will always pray, and that's a good thing, these insurance companies will pray that this doesn't happen. These insurance companies, I mean, they will do Qiyamul Layl to pray and say that this doesn't happen. The cars don't meet with accidents. Why? If the cars meet with accident, what will happen? This insurance company will have to pay to the car owner. If the person, gets sick, he goes to hospital, so he will have to pay to the person for his treatment. So these people, they don't want us to get sick, to actually get sick, to actually meet with accident, or to actually, lose our products in shipment. They don't want it. Yeah, but what they want us to be scared. I mean, they want us to feel the real risk is there, but they want not to keep the money. They are not, willing to. Yeah, they have to. They have made a promise. They have made a contract to give the money when there is something wrong, right? So that is their business. That is their expertise. That is called insurance. So the second point is whether a risk can be covered by insurance, and if yes, then what will be the cost. So I mean, I want to provide you this service that in case your car meets with an accident, then we will pay you the full. So how much you should pay me? The reality is, today, it has not met with an accident. In the next 1 year, it may or may not meet with an accident. So I have to decide how much should I take from you, so that in case there is any problem, I can help you with the money. Now we will decide on that cost. It is called the price of the risk. This is called the pricing of risk. So that is the second question the insurance companies ask: what should the cost of this risk is? What is the price of this risk which I should take from the customer? And finally, the question comes, risk factors on the other side, on the person or individual side. Then comes because it is a market, there is a seller and a buyer. So there is a seller who is trying to threaten us, who is trying to tell, see, don't go out, you can meet with accident. So what to do? Take insurance from us, and if you take the insurance, now you can go, there is no problem. But this is not convincing to the individual. He says, I'm not interested in your product, I will go out without taking your policy. So then what happens? Here, it's about the decision of the customer to buy or not, and this also depends upon the risk. So what happens when we are buying a mobile phone, a very costly mobile phone? There comes insurance policy. Do you know about this? Like Apple and other big mobile phones, Huawei. So when you buy the mobile phones from Amazon or from Souk or from Extra, anywhere, they will offer you, see, this is a very costly mobile phone, so we will suggest that you buy an insurance, and with this insurance your mobile phone will be safe. How? In case there is any damage to your phone, the insurance company will cover it. Okay, so you are getting the idea. So but on the other side, a person has purchased a mobile phone for 200 riyals, right? A very basic, a small mobile phones for 200 riyals. Even if the insurance company says, see, this is 200 is also money, why should you take risk? Give us 1 riyal and take this insurance. In case there is any loss to your mobile phone, we will reimburse. We will give you all 200. Will the customer buy 1 riyal insurance? What do you say? Perhaps not, isn't it? Why? Because 200 is nothing. He knows that I am buying a very cheap phone and there is a possibility of loss. I know it. So why should I spend 1 riyal extra to face this problem? So he doesn't go for this offer. He simply goes with the product. But a person who has spent 10,000 riyals in a phone, he is quite concerned, and he likes this option. This insurance company says, take this insurance for 200 riyals, and when you buy this insurance, it's a lifelong guarantee that if your phone faces any problem, we will help you in repair or exchange. So we will take care of that. So this person, feels comfortable now, and it makes his purchase easier, decision easier. So, there are two sides, one from the buyer side and the other from the seller side. The buyer should be ready to buy the product, the risk product. The seller should also be ready to sell, to prepare and package the product, to sell the product to the buyer. Yeah, there are cases where it is mandatory to buy insurance, where the government feels that you have to buy, because they know, as I said, if you look at the data for accidents, we don't have the data, we don't have the real statistics, but the traffic police, the Murur department, they know what is the rate of accidents and what is the possibility, what happens when the accident takes place. there is a financial loss. So they are asking all to take insurance. It's must. Otherwise, they are not going to renew the registration of the car. Similarly, for the health, if we are working in any company or somebody is coming from outside, they have to buy health insurance, because the government knows that if the people are not insured, then there will be a big expense for the government or the person. So in order to save, they sell insurance, they say buy insurance, and then after buying the insurance, if you fall sick, if there is any problem, this company will pay for your full expense. So this is the first level of discussion regarding insurance. So what it is all about? It is about risk. And what is risk? Risk is the possibility of financial loss. Okay, so insurance companies, what do they sell in this market? They sell risk. They sell risk, and the buyers purchase products based on risk. What type of risk we saw? Some are individual products, for individuals, like car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, and some are for business, corporate insurance services. So is it clear till now? You are getting a structured idea about the discussion we have started. So we can go to the next. I have sent you one report on the WhatsApp group and also uploaded on Blackboard. This is the report from KPMG regarding the insurance sector in Saudi. So what you will do, you will go through quarterly report. So you go through this report. This is very important for us to go through them and know which companies are working in Saudi, what is their size, what is the growth rate, especially during the COVID, what was the growth rate, how is it different from the last year. So you have to go through this report, and then I'll upload a quiz on Blackboard based on this, so that I see whether you studied or not. We'll discuss this in the next class. Okay, then let's go to the next part. Are you with me? Can we go to the next? Yes?
With you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, doctor, yes.
All right, so now we understand, that this market has to do with risk. Risk, the insurance companies will like to sell every type of risk, and even eating, they will. So it's up to us to decide, if the government is not forcing, if the free market, some of them, the governments feel it is important to buy. There, we don't have any debate, but there are many products which the customer has a choice. So, it will be the two sides, demand and supply. So the buyer should be ready to buy that product. The insurance companies will be ready to sell, the buyers should be ready to buy. Only then, there will be a product exchange. So what are the categories of risk which can be, because now what we are doing, we are monetizing the risk. We are making money out of risk. So for doing that, we should know what type of risk are. So first, we call them natural risk. Natural risks are, for example, there is flood, Kudra, so from the nature, where there is humans have no control, volcanoes, flood, drought. So these are the risks. And the places, suppose a place like Saudi, where in places where it is very sandy and very less rain, so flood insurance or risks related to flood will not make much sense. But if you go to countries where there is heavy rainfall, like in Indonesia or Singapore, earthquakes, tsunami, floods, they are all very common in those places. So depending upon the area where the insurance companies are selling the products, they have to identify the risk. So the natural risks are related to flood, drought, there is no rain. Then there can be health risk, and what better time to know this, to understand an example of epidemic In fact, now we have a new word, and we know it very well now. There is a word called, what is the type of disease? Corona. WHO says corona is it epidemic or something else? Last year in March, I will just tell you what is it called in Arabic. Jaiha al-Obia. So Jahia or al-Ubia. What is? Do you understand? What is this? Whereas epidemic is wabai or al-Ubia. Both are same, but what is the difference between the two? You see, epidemic is limited to a particular country or a few countries, but the pandemic, I think somebody has answered, so I'll check the answer on blackboard. Jahia or al-Waba, yeah. So what is the difference between this? Is that in the case of pandemic, as last year the World Health Organization, they declared that corona is a pandemic because for the first time, although pandemic has taken place in the past also, but this is the biggest one in many centuries because every country is affected by it. So this is a pure health related issue. So the people who would have got their insurance, and I don't know, you have to do your research for it and find out if the companies covered this insurance. For example, if somebody had medical insurance and they suffered from corona and got hospitalized, did the insurance companies, now this is a practical question, you can ask someone who is working in insurance company, whether this, although in Saudi, it was free of cost, free treatment, so there is no role of insurance. But in some countries, people went for private treatment, so they went for private hospitals. So if they went for private hospitals, did the insurance companies cover their cost or not? Because this pandemic, this corona, was a new type of health issue. So we don't know whether the insurance companies accepted this as the qualified risk or not. So there are health related risks. Third is life cycle risk. Life cycle risks means the risk related to birth, old age, death. Now these two are very common, life cycle. In fact, even birth, at the birth time also, many insurance companies, they sell insurance products regarding, when the child is born, they will send many types of insurance. And also there are many investment schemes for the newborn child, that you open an account with this for this child, and you keep depositing 100 riyals every month, and after he becomes 20 years, 18 years, we will pay 2 times of the amount. We will give profit upon this. So these are all, but old age, the pension, and the death risk, these are very common and very popular risks. These are related to the life cycle of a person. Then there is social risk related to crime, like theft, very common. That we, like in a business, a company has got its go down, the goods are kept there, and somebody steals all the goods. So what happens? The company, if the company has insurance, they will go and claim to the insurance company that my goods have been lost. The insurance company will come and check. If it is true, then they will pay the losses to the company. So this is the crime. This is related to social risk. Similarly, there can be war. Okay, so these are social risks which can take place. Economic risks, unemployment, and in the Western countries, it's a very popular thing. If a person who is adult, if he is covered by the social security, he has a social security number, then if he becomes unemployed, the government pays for him, for monthly allowance is paid to him. So this is, if the government may link this with insurance company. So what happens? This person gets the payment from the insurance company. So insurance company, when they become unemployed, the insurance company will pay. Similarly, financial crisis is an economic risk. Then related to environment, pollution, and we are all talking about the green emissions, carbon trading, carbon taxation. What are these? These are all sustainable development. What are these? These are related to environment. So this is related to environment risk. So there are many insurance products for taking care of the environmental risk like pollution. Then nuclear disaster, that's a risk. It's related to environment. So these are broad categories of risk. Now these are products for the insurance companies to decide whether they are going to sell flood related products or drought or illness or epidemic. So they can be categorized as these. Also, we can classify those risks into three further. There are covariant risks. That was not based on the number. We don't know how many people are affected. But in this, it is also telling who are affected. So if large number of people are affected at the same time, right? So it's called covariant risks. These are, when we are dealing with insurance, these become very popular terms. People are, these may be new for us, but as we go into the insurance sector, the names become very popular. Covariant risks. So this insurance company may specialize in covariant risks, offering products related to those risks which affect large number of people at the same time. Example, the epidemic. Then similarly, the risk may be affecting only a small segment of population. This is called idiosyncratic risks. Then the risks that affect a large segment of the population and have high unit costs, they are called catastrophic risks. So these are the names of the risks. Classification of risks. One is the just we saw these 6, and then they may be classified into 3: covariant, idiosyncratic, and catastrophic. Now comes the question. We understood risk, and we also have some idea. We started the discussion on insurance, that insurance helps in taking care of the risk. So we'll just discuss this today and stop after discussing this for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll continue in the next class after you have done that homework. So the question is, what are the ways to handle risk for anyone? The economic units who are present in the financial system, they are individuals or companies or governments. These are the people who have money. Then the second question that has to be asked is, which type of people are the people who will buy insurance? So these are financial surplus who can afford to buy insurance products, because the deficit doesn't have the money to buy the products. So these are the surplus who have more money. They will actually go to buy the insurance products. So the money is coming from the surplus. It comes to the insurance. The next class, we will see what happens with that money which comes to the insurance, because insurance is also a business. Insurance companies are not charitable or not for profit. They take money from the people for policies, for insurance, but they do something with the money. They do business with money, and with this they make profit. And when they make profit, this money goes to someone else, the deficit side, and from there, the money, the businesses work, the business becomes operational. So let's look at this side first. So the people who face risk, like we discussed an example of car. So the person is very scared. He feels very scared. if I buy a car and I go in the market, on the streets, I will hit, or I may get hit, or I will hit someone. So I am not going to get a driver's license. I am not going to buy a car because I am very scared. So when the person decides not to participate in an activity because of the risk, this is called avoidance. This is called avoidance. It's very much possible that people do not buy or go for an option because of the risk. Ijtinab, tajannub, to avoid, avoidance. So that's a policy, very nice policy, to not do anything. If I don't do that, I don't fall into it. So that's the first option, first way to handle risk. Number 2, to go for retention strategy. Now in the retention, what happens? I buy a car and I know that I accept, I am an educated person. I know there is a possibility of a car accident. It is possible, that any time there may be an accident. So what I do as a safety, I keep saving some money for future losses, say 1,000 reals or dollars in my account or in my home. I keep saving it on monthly basis or yearly basis, just feeling that in case someday the car meets with an accident, then I will use this money to take care of it. And after deciding on that plan, I buy the car. So this is called retention strategy. Here, the customer or the person doesn't take any external help. He is willing or relying upon himself for car insurance, accidents, or medical, or job, or for business. He is taking care of the risk himself by doing something, by managing something. The last one is where there is an external body, there is an external institution who says that you can pass your risk to us, which are the insurance companies. This is their specialization, to take the risk from someone else and help them become confident in taking the activity, to do the business, to buy the car, to go for travel, or to be confident about any health risk. This is called transfer strategy, where the person decides to transfer his risk. What is risk? Risk is fear. His fear, and this fear was not something, fear is not just in his mind, right? It's not a psychological fear. It is a real fear. How? It is translating into his decision not to buy something or not to do business. So it's not just a fear, it's not something in the mind, but it is physically present, because in this type of a problem, he is deciding not to buy a car, or if he buys a car, he makes some arrangement for that risk, or finally he transfers that fear, that risk, to someone else. So we see that this risk is the possibility of loss. It's a real possibility of a loss. There is a high and very good chance, mathematical chance, that the car can meet with an accident, a person can fall sick, a business person can lose his money in the goods. So this is called risk, and there are 3 strategies. One is avoidance, not to do that activity, which is a decision, but it's not practical. We cannot avoid everything. We have to take a step. The second is retention. The retention is that we take care of the fear, the risk ourselves, not to rely on anyone else. And the third is the transfer strategy, where we transfer the risk from us to an insurance insurance company. And how do we do that? We pay some money to do that. So here comes the business. I mean, they have come to give a service, and that service is to make us comfortable regarding the risk, regarding the fear, and for that they are charging some money. We pay money for psychiatrist. If there is any problem, mental problem, we go and pay. We go to doctors to seek counseling. So this is the similar thing, we go to the insurance company to tell that I am going to buy a car, and I can buy the best car only when you can make me confident that if there is a loss of money, you will bear it. So the insurance company says, yes, we are there for that purpose, that if there is any loss to your car, any financial loss, we will repay full. So this person happily gives the money to insurance company and goes and buys the car and happily drives the car. So this is called transfer strategy. So we will stop here today, and we will continue from the risk management strategies and try to understand what is the business of insurance, how it works, and so on in the next class. So you can read the book and the chapter on insurance, and then you have to do that task of taking the quiz based on the KPMG report. And it's very important for us to see how the insurance companies are working in Saudi, especially the post-corona period. So we'll discuss that report in the next class. I will stop now. You can